Hi, I'm Ralph Preston, and welcome to another Stroke Buddies Stroke Survivor Support Group meeting. Today, we have Samantha Mackey, who's going to do a little presentation on NLP, or Neuro-Linguistic Programming. She's an NLP coach, and she's got a little presentation for us. And so, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Samantha. And Samantha, thank you very much for taking the time to share with us today.
Thank you very much for having me on, Luke, Ralph. We go back, 2 years since I first joined the Stroke Buddies group. And since then, I've had many stroke survivors come to me, but I thought since coaching wasn't a topic you would associate with rehabilitation, I thought I would do this presentation for you guys, and so you could get a better idea. Here goes. I'm a triple stroke survivor. I had 2 TIAs, 2 years apart, and then I went back to work almost immediately. And then things got serious on me. I had a more severe stroke. When I came to, I could only speak 3 words: yes, no, and my brother's name. My right side, my more dominant side, was lame and is still lame. That's another story. And I still continue to have cognitive issues to deal with. They are the hidden. So I want to share this story because NLP really helped me and how I relate to those around me. Wait a minute. So I've been announcing this group webinar for over a year now, but since then I've gained over 1,500 followers, so here goes. And now the NHS, the National Health Service in the UK, similar to, I don't know what you have over there in America, but similar to the national health body, finally recognizes this service. So I believe it should work for you, and as many can attest to, but you will feel what's right for you, all right? Tish Gordon, I didn't know you were coming, Tish. I hope you don't mind my sharing your experience with me.
Yeah.
Lou? No? Yes?
Just say that again. Do you want me to?
No, I didn't know whether you were going to join us today, but
Oh, yeah.
So this is the first time that neuro-linguistic programming coaching has been recognized by the NHS, because the doctors are fed up with dishing out merely tablets. They don't resolve the underlying issue. I can help you with those issues. You'll come to me and we will do a pre-call questionnaire about how ready you are to be coached, because not everybody is ready. I will ask you some hard questions, and depending on your answers, I will determine if maybe another way is better for you to be signposted to. Disclaimer alert: individuals may find value in incorporating NLP coaching as a complementary approach to their overall stroke recovery plan. As always, it is always crucial to consult with healthcare professionals and stroke rehabilitation specialists for personal advice and guidance. Let's dive in. As I said, this webinar is for stroke survivors, head injury survivors, and their caregivers. Head injury survivors, because I can imagine that they suffer from similar things to what all of our stroke survivors do. And their caregivers, my heart goes out to them because they are being penalized because they have to keep all the balls juggling in the air for their own lives. And now they happen to care for somebody who has had a stroke or a head injury, and they don't get any training. So my heart goes out to them because I think they're the worst off, really. Because you're dealing with, as a stroke survivor, you will know that you become very focused on yourself and not so much on anybody else. At least that's what happened with me. But what is NLP coaching? NLP is neuro-linguistic coaching. Neuro is the brain, linguistic is the language, and programming is the combination of those two. But each stroke is different as you all, and you are your own experience. Perhaps some of my journey will resonate with you and will ultimately help you. But who is Samantha? I am much more than a stroke survivor. I had two TIAs, as I said, and a much more severe stroke every year between the ages of 40 and 44. But after each mini stroke, I went back to work because that's what one did in those days. But after the second TIA, the third TIA left me incapacitated. As I said, I could not speak. When I came to, I can only speak 3 words, but yet I felt held because I had my brother, his partner, and my dear friends peering down on me. So I felt like comforted. But that was 13 years ago, and a lot has happened during those 13 years. But before my stroke, I had a thriving career in the hotel and restaurant industry because my family go back generations, from my grandmother who ran events, our prime minister, to my mom, now running 2 hotels in Tobago. So I was carrying on a family tradition. That's me. I worked at London's largest hotel as the director of business development. And that's when I had the second TIA. But I went back to work. But since my stroke, they are the upsides. So some of the upsides of having had a stroke, I've developed an incredible ability for empathy. I always used to be empathetic, but yeah, now it knows no bounds as far as I'm concerned. And I've trained in executive and NLP coaching. I now paint and read actual books. When I first came to, books were too much for me. I could not read a book, and that hurt me because I was always an avid, voracious book reader. And my brother, he gave me a set of paints, must be, I don't know, 25 years ago. And I first started to use them, but painting with my left hand instead of my right. And I've developed my emotional intelligence. I accept criticism. I pause before I talk. And that's thanks to the NLP, because NLP opens up a variety of avenues to you. Have more patience, take more time outdoors, now tend an allotment with great results. Here, that's me on the hottest day of the year last year. And that is some cucumber pickles I made from the harvest I gathered at the allotment. That's the book I'm reading, and that's the painting I painted. What do you think? What do you think?
Right.
But that's the upside. But there have been cognitive shifts, and not all in the negative direction. But now the downsides. I walk with a limp. I have impaired movement in my right hand. And now I paint with my left hand. Some major high-level cognitive issues that aren't recognized, and stroke fatigue. But I want to talk to you about you. And from all the dealings that I have with the stroke communities, I belong to about, 15 groups. And what I hear most often is all stroke survivors compare themselves to another stroke or another individual. You are an individual. Treat yourself like that. Sure, my right arm doesn't work, but you are much more than your stroke. And you can't compare yourself to anyone or any stroke. Sure, there might be times when something that works for somebody else works for you, but that isn't guaranteed. So I found I don't compare my stroke to anybody else's stroke. I'm an individual and I shall treat myself like that. Yes, yes. We all want to make out like we do our exercises every day that God sends us. But that isn't true. Don't sweat it if you miss a few days or a few weeks or months. As long as you go back, it's okay. Life gets in the way. As you know, I've moved up to Scotland because I fell in love with the idea of a guy. Something with my cognitive issues, I would have been better put to stay put in London, but I moved up. Nobody cares outside you, your family, and your dearest friends, and they will become apparent when you've had a stroke. Nobody cares about you and your progress. Nobody. Why should they? You're just a drop in the ocean. But we give ourselves so much importance. We are nothing in this universe, and the universe goes on around us. It was so liberating when I realized this fact, because that's what was getting in my way. I must get out of my way and let the universe progress as it progresses. And don't care what anybody thinks about your journey and your recovery. You decide its pace as much as you can. You'll make it according to you, despite everything we've been told. Don't be scared. Be kind to yourself, practice self-love, and be kind to all those around you, your carers, because they are dealing with something that was not of their choosing, and which you have no control over, you having had a stroke. So in the first pre-call, I often conduct this with my coachees, as I like to call them. It's called a wheel of life. And you divide up this pie chart into 12 sections. You can name them whatever you want. So relationships, fun, adventure, growth. That's just what I named them. But you could name them just what you want. And you'll grade them as you're feeling now. And you'll grade them as you would like them to be. And you will decide on the 3 areas you want to focus on in your journey with me. Okay, so that's the first thing we get out of the way, because everybody that should come to me comes to me with a singular thought in their mind. We want to get better. But let's break that down. Which areas do you want to get better in? Paul wanted to move his right arm. That's it. TG wanted to develop a deeper relationship, a new relationship with her family. You will decide, and we'll go from there. What are your three of your greatest strengths? What do you like about yourself? What do you yearn to do? Let your mind run free. Do not limit yourself. Dream big. These are some of the things I may go through with you. Disney pattern. You all know of Walt Disney? Yes?
Oh, yeah.
Disney employed these three positions. He was a dreamer. Nobody heard of Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck before he had that dream. So you let your minds run free. And then you'll move into the critic's position, and you will break down all that the dreamer has dreamt. And then you'll come into the realist position, the outside perspective position, and you will ask smart questions of the dreamer and the critic. And so he came up with what is now known as Disney World. And I can do the same with you by using this pattern. If it is something you want to achieve, I will criticize you. I will take up the realist position, and then we will change. So you get an overall plan of what you could possibly do. But how do you do all these things? Of course, by joining my Neuro-Linguistic programming coaching practice. NLP gives us the mindset, the concepts, the beliefs, and the techniques to bring about change within ourselves and the way others deal with us. It's a Neuro-Linguistic is a way to reprogram the brain to think thoughts that are more suited to you. I will take you, the coachee, into a different world and get you to look at it and interpret it from a different perspective. I won't share with you the NLP tools that I'm talking of. I will merely run through them. They won't mean anything to you, but we don't have time because I must go at 5 o'clock. And I want to leave time for questions. But I will use for you, for example, these three. Reframing. Our key to transporting anything lies in our ability to reframe it. What does that mean? It's like you take a picture out of an old frame and put it into a new frame. It changes the meaning of it. You have a decision to make each and every step you take. How do I react to that given situation? For example, something banal. It's raining. You could feel pissed off because it's raining, or you could feel glad because you know that the plants need it, and it will heighten your joy of going outside. So it's all about reframing, yeah? Anchoring, that is simply taking you back to a memory of when you were really felt really mightyful and really strong. And then getting you to hold it and taking it onto that place where you may not feel as confident as you would like. And by practice, and I will practice it with you, but you will go on to practice it. And it's strange, by taking this element of when you felt you were really confident and holding it to your chest, sinking it into the now, and then projecting it forward. It sounds weird, but it works. So, clean language. I will always question you with clean language. What do I mean by that? We all distort, delete, and generalize all aspects of our life. We distort things by remembering a situation that to another person occurred completely differently. For example, I was a few months ago talking to a dear friend of mine, and I remembered my having the stroke completely differently to the way she remembered it. I got up. I don't go to sleep in the middle of the afternoon, which I did on that occasion. And when I got up 2 hours later, I then spoke to my then boyfriend. He froze because he said I was talking funny, but he froze. And then I went into the bathroom and I called my friend, and she said, "You're talking funny." So she organized an ambulance to come and get me. And I cut that out. I blanked it from my memory database. So we all distort and delete, I don't know, according to our own map of the world. But I will always question you. I can't be found guilty of impressing my map of the world unto yours. The question I will pose you, what do you mean by that? How is that different? Questions like these do not allow me to veer off into imposing my value of the world unto yours. This is another one. This is called Cartesian coordinates. What would happen if you did X? X could be whatever is going on in your life. X could be, for example, what would happen if you spoke to your family about your stroke? So what would happen if you did X? What wouldn't happen if you did X? What would happen if you did X? And what wouldn't happen if you didn't do X? So it's astonishing, and you can apply that to any corner of your life and see what comes out. I was going to say we all know of this, but we don't. You could be faced by the grow aspect. So you identify a goal, you make sure it's a reality. You identify the options and obstacles in your way, and you designate a way forward. Logical levels. Our logical levels are, who are you? What do you want to do? What can you do? What is your environment? And believe you me, they have changed for you. Before, I used to be a great enabler of parties. I would have 20, 30 people around. Now, I'm really happy with 2, 3 of my dearest and nearest. But I will get you to question, what is your environment? Can you change that? What type of behavior do you exhibit to those around you? What can you do? What can't you do? What do you believe in? You know, we talk about values, but what are your values? You've not questioned those values since you were a child when they were formed. And what is your identity? What is your vision? So this enables a whole level of other discussions to take place. And breathe. I know it was a lot for you to get your head around, but we shall decide everything at your pace. You decide. I wanted to outline some of the things that we may go through, but normally I choose 2 or 3 things. As a stroke survivor, having had a stroke, I'm completely vested in you. It is my destiny to see you get better. I feel as if it's my calling in life. Sure, I was carrying on a family tradition when I went into the hotel industry, but I have changed. My values have changed. I just want to see you get better. So much so that I will send you personalized summaries of what we've discussed together. Reminders of things for you to accomplish in between sessions. That is my USP, because no other coach will do it. As a matter of fact, coaches don't do this because they feel that if you really want to do it, you'll write it down. But I'm cognizant of every stroke is different. And perhaps you're not so good on your typing things on your phone, or typing at all, or writing at all. I don't know your circumstances, but I promise you this. That is the way I cherish you. And you give me in return feedback after every session, because to know where I must focus my efforts on you. Thank you for your time and interest. I hope I make clear something that had not been clear before. But whatever you do, email me, call me, 07899936797, or email me at sam@masterstrokecoaching.co.uk.
I'll put all that information underneath the video when it goes up on YouTube.
Good. Good.
All right, anybody, Samantha, can you unshare your screen? There you go.
Yeah.
There we go, perfect. And who's got the first question? I usually say, does anybody have any questions? And nobody does. So I'm going to say, who has the first question?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay, Winnie.
You talk
Hi,
about your
Winnie.
wheel and the different things on your wheel.
Mm,
And if your environment and your values change, then what happens? You adjust your wheel and all that?
yes. Yes, because yeah,
Go ahead.
because when you complete your in the introductory call, when you complete the wheel of life, you are completing them with the values that you assumed you have. I will take you into this maybe in the third session. We will go through your values, your environment, and you will realize that that has changed. So you will update your values on the wheel of life. Yeah, is that clear?
Okay, you said in the third session. How many sessions do I need to see you at?
So between 6 and 10 hour-long Zoom sessions, you decide their pace, whether it be every week, every 2 weeks, every month. It depends on the things you want to accomplish and how fast you think you can accomplish them. And if I think you need a conversation in between that, I will initiate a conversation with you as to the frequency, or maybe we don't need 6 or 10 sessions. One girl, she completed it with me in 3 sessions. So like, whoa, it was amazing. But everybody's different, and I will treat you as such.
So you don't need 12 spokes on your wheel then, right?
Pardon?
You don't need 12 spokes on your wheel.
No,
Like
but you need 12. Well, you need as many sessions as you want, but you will identify 3 things you want to work on in that wheel.
Okay.
Yeah?
Remember, she said you fill it out twice. You fill it out for where you are currently and where you hope to be. And I guess you would compare that matrix and
Yeah.
from you could determine the things that you were farthest away from, and maybe those would be the 3 that you would work on, or maybe the 3 you would work on would
You
be
don't know that. You don't know that. Yeah.
important ones to you.
Everybody's different. Everybody's different. But I will treat you fairly. That is a surety.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's see. Oh, I don't normally do this. I'm wondering if T's got anything to share about her experience, but that's putting her on the spot. And if you don't want to do it, T, I completely understand, because I probably shouldn't be doing it.
No, it's okay. Do you mean the wheel or with everything? What do you want me to just ask me something and I'll say.
All right. So we actually have Cephas with us today, as opposed to him just listening in. Toya, what do you think? Nobody's talking. I got to call on people, or else I got to talk, or else Sam and I.
Tish said you can ask her anything.
Yeah. What do you want to ask me anything or anybody?
Tell him about your experience in general.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm now 39 years old. and I had my stroke in 2018 because I was a teacher, teaching English ESOL, and I went to Thailand to do that for 4 years. And when I was in Thailand on the Sunday night, I was sleeping and I woke up. As your body clock wakes you up, you wake up the time you wake up. I woke up, I was really hot, more hotter than it usually is. I know Thailand's a hot place, but it was like extremely hot. So I thought, oh, I better go out and put the fan on. So I put the fan on and then I collapsed. I was unconscious, but I don't know how long I was unconscious for. And then I woke up and then my whole body, I felt strange basically. And I couldn't move. And I had to go to get my phone, which was on the table, which was about, I don't know, probably, I don't know how the meters and the feet work. So I'll probably say 6 or 8 feet. I'm not too sure, or meters. So I had to drag over there to get my phone so I could call my landlord. I don't know how long that took because I didn't realise I had a stroke. I just, everything felt different to my body. And eventually I called the landlord and obviously she couldn't hear me. I was speaking like you said, Samantha, so like you were speaking German. I was like I say like us, a dolphin was speaking, a dog speaking, a cat speaking. Nobody could understand me. In my mind, I just knew I've got a stroke. I don't know how I knew that, but I did know. And then I hung up the phone and I called emergency, hospital, stroke. Now that's what I think I put, but it could have been mumble jumble words. But eventually the landlord came over, I called the ambulance. The ambulance knocked over the door and put me into the hospital in Thailand. Was there for 2 weeks. My mum and my sister came to Thailand to get me to go back home in the UK. That's where I live. And then like I went home and then I was at one hospital for a while. I was in another hospital for another one and one other. So I was in the hospital for about 3 months basically. After that, I had the rehab, things like that. And then I had to like sort out my life basically because I thought I was in Thailand for forever basically. I wasn't expecting to come back to the UK. And then once I sorted all that, then we had the COVID happen. You know, it interrupts everything. Like no physio, no nothing. It was locked down with the lockdown and things like that. And then I don't know what happened to me, but I was like I say a rut, like you know, like when before you had the stroke, you're just living your life, not thinking everything was happening. Like I was very healthy, doing yoga, a vegetarian. I wasn't smoking. I was exercising. I was doing everything as you're supposed to, and then bam, I had the stroke. And how I felt, it's like I was mourning for who I was. Like it was like I was a baby again. I had to learn everything all over, how to speak, how to walk, just everything. I had to learn everything. So I'm going through that process, and I don't know. I needed Samantha basically. um yeah, so I can't remember the actual date happened, but eventually I was looking on the internet and I found Samantha and I thought, oh, and what I liked it, she has can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I liked about Samantha, because she has a stroke, so I know I've got the stroke, and when I go to people It could be anything. Doctors, anybody, friends, family, it doesn't matter. From they don't have their stroke, they don't fully exactly know what's going on, type of thing. So because Sam had the stroke, it was great. It was really great. So I was with Samantha, and she did that wheel thing with me. You know, it was really good because you're living your life with the stroke, and you got all these problems, and cognitive problems. It just doesn't matter what it is. And then she asked me to have a look at that wheel and like color the lines, what you think you are now. So I did that. When it's done, I was looking at it, and it was good. It was good for me to see like actually see you know, where I've actually got mine in my bedroom. If I knew, I could have got it and shown people. And yeah, and it was good. I can't remember exactly because of the cognitive things. I can't remember what we worked on, but I had my
That's why I send you the personalized notes. That's exactly why. Yeah. Sorry.
yeah but it was great. And so it's my brain's gone a bit funny. Yeah, and after we had our sessions and things like that. I can't remember, I've got the right dates and things like. We had our session, and then I had to do colour again. And you know what, doing the sessions, it really made me feel she grounded me. I was in a rocky place, and with the stroke, and it's so good to talk to someone who has the stroke, because I know eventually I speak to my family, like my mom, my dad, my sisters and brothers, and then I speak to them, and they give support and things like that, and I'm very grateful and thankful for them. But when I speak to Samantha in the sessions, there's no way. I can't think the words how to explain it, but it's really good because, like, she relates just everything. It's really good. Yeah, and I'm getting lost now. Is there any questions? I feel like I've got going off. Yeah, yeah, it's great, I think. Yeah. Is
Well,
there any question? Yeah. So
we all feel kind of isolated and like we're the only ones who this happened to. We're the only ones who understand what's going on with us. That's another reason, or the main reason for the Facebook groups and Zoom meetings like this one, is that most of us feel that somebody else who had a stroke understands them in a way that people who haven't had a stroke can't. I mean, they can try. They can be understanding. You say your family was very supportive, but we're all members of a club we wish we didn't belong to. There's a certain bond, between us all, certain shared experience. So
yeah, and a stroke is a lifelong commitment. It's not like when you break a leg, your leg gets better, or when you have a hip replacement, your hip gets better. But a stroke, like, what's going on, man? And they don't tell you that when you leave the hospital. They don't go on to crush your spirit. But it's a fact.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, people don't like to hear that, because they think that they're going to have to exercise forever, which you probably should do anyway. But here's the thing. Even if you didn't have a stroke, you should be on a lifelong mission to
exactly.
a lifelong mission to eat well and exercise and do all the things that we tend to focus on more after our stroke, because we see them suddenly as a way to improve and get better. But
It's but
those
I
stroke-
thought I was doing everything correctly, you know. I didn't drink too much, was maintaining a slim, trim body, did yoga, as Tish said, and I would never have thought strokes don't happen to me. Come on, I'm young. I'm in my 40s. I'm, you know, strokes happen to little old ladies and old men. That's the only person that stroke happened to. It isn't true, but that's the vision I had in my head.
a lot of us
It
were
really
doing.
messes with your head when you're 17 years old.
Yeah, gosh, what was that when the stroke happened to you, Abraham?
Yeah, I was 17, kind of ripped away all my hopes and dreams and took my senior year of high school and a lot of other stuff. But, you know, it's a stroke.
But you have a smile on your face and a glint in your eye, so I'm sure that's not
Well,
where the story ends.
Yeah, I'm 44 years old. I'm like almost 30 years out. I've worked so hard at
Yeah,
being better that I can do nothing but appreciate and be
Yeah.
grateful.
Here to that. Here to that.
Right.
Oh, and my heart goes out to you, to all of you, me as well. So yeah, my heart goes out to you all.
It's interesting you started off with the empathy, because I found I was an empathetic person before, but I think stroke turns up the empathy knob on anybody who was even slightly empathetic. You know, it's just been my experience, and you and I, Samantha, are involved in this like kind of full time. So I found the more I get involved with other stroke survivors and more further down the road I get helping people, I'm more and more empathetic as opposed to less.
Yeah, and that can only be a good thing.
I think empathy is a good thing. You know, that's one thing we lack. You know, when you possess the ability to look at somebody else's situation, and it gives you the ability also to, hey, look at your situation. Mercer says hi to everybody.
Hi, Mercy.
He's just cruising through. He needed he just needed a nose touch. We touched noses, like his little kiss. He just came up, touched my nose, and he's gone. Anyway.
It's almost 5 o'clock.
Yeah, it's Samantha, you mentioned that you had something you
A
had
train to catch.
couple of minutes, so
No, I'm going back to London. I'm in
Okay.
Cornwall currently, so.
well, I mean, we'll let you go. And
But thank you all so much for letting me present my presentation to you, and hopefully you got something out of it. But if you have any questions at all, email me, call me, do what you got to do. Yeah. Stay strong.
I'll make sure that I put the info. And
Yes.
so I want to thank you for your time. I also want to thank T for sharing her story.
Yeah. Thank you, T. I didn't know she was even going to be on this call. Thank you so much for giving me such a ringing endorsement.
Well, I didn't know
Hope for more.
worked out.
I just got the WhatsApp text and I put it on my phone, and then my alarm rang, and I thought I'd go into Zoom, and so I didn't know what it was. Basically, I look a bit of a mess, but I'm here.
Never look a mess. You're all beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you again, Samantha.
Cool.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.